Welcome back, guys, to SoftShades. It's another episode of Shenanigans. But today we have a very juicy topic to talk about.
Yep.
And Michael has some good news to share. Do you have some good news to share? I just dropped you on the spot there, didn't I?
Yeah, I was like, oh my goodness. What has it been with you and glasses these days? What's going on?
I mean, like, I wear glasses.
Yes, I know
and
you do.
I feel like I've just been taking it off because we're recording. So I thought, you know what? I'm just going to have to put my glasses back on because I need to see road.
Exactly.
But yeah, so yeah.
How are you feeling, girl? You alright?
I'm alright. I'm good. How are you?
I'm not too bad.
Over the weekend?
The weekend has been great. Always busy. The weekends are always busy for me because I'm trying to be in my bag. This is 2024. I'm all about my bag right now.
Let's get your money. Let's get your money. Let's get that money.
Label money in me is coming out all the time.
And the evil woman in me never left.
But yeah, I'm all about my bag right now. So yeah.
Okay, so I was going to say something, yeah?
Okay.
Something has been coming up lately, and it's really affected me in a significant way because I've just been thinking, like, especially when it comes to parenting and stuff. Like, I remember back in those days when I would do something and my mom would, like, discipline the hell out of me, especially when she thinks that I'm taking the piss. And these days, something just came to thought, like, what methods did we use? What the methods that they used back then to discipline us, and now, or which were more effective? Because I feel now these days,
obviously, that's pretty easy.
I kind of like,
So what's the topic?
Disciplining your children.
Okay, so
like,
the topic is disciplining your children, right?
Yes.
And what methods are the best so far, right? Across board, from the olden days, from the old days now to the Gen Z season. Because I call it the Gen Z season. Because why not, right? I feel, obviously, there are a bit of props here and there. I feel back in the day, it was straight out, they call you out on your bullshit, your BS. They call you out on your BS and you get scolded by aunties, uncles, whoever was available at the time will scold you straight up.
Yes.
But now it's more of talking, and
there's a lot of mental health protection going on now. Exactly. So we're a bit soft. Everybody's
gone a bit soft right now. But back in the day, it was.
But bro, back in the day
was the real business.
You will get the whip. I remember back then.
Does anybody know Pankere?
You'll be warped to sense. You'll be warped to sense but the only thing is, in the UK, the difference is growing up, because obviously I have a background in both places. Yeah. And you have to be really careful with the way you discipline your children, because you literally can have your child taken away from you, because social services would get involved and they would take your child away from you. I remember back then, my dad was like literally cautioned that if he ever, laid his finger on me or anything, he would get imprisoned literally for 18 years, or I would get taken away for them from 18 years. So it was like literally the make or break moment. And then obviously I'm sure that your upbringing at that point and the disciplining methods definitely changed.
Of course they
did. But in Nigeria, there's nothing like that.
Yeah, you have neighbors who would discipline you on the parents of your.
It was like the village was
on behalf of your parents.
Exactly, and it was like the village would take care. When they say it takes a village to actually
raise a child, yeah.
Literally, that's it in Nigeria. But in hindsight, in hindsight, my mom was saying that sometimes the children that are disciplined, especially when it comes to rich homes, they know how to find methods and ways to discipline their children. But when it comes to poor homes, what they do is like they send their children off to become servants,
to get trained
by other people's families. Yes, do you think that's the best thing for their children?
Well, so this is in that scenario, right? It's very difficult to actually figure out what best works. Because for these families, right, who send their kids away for training or whatever, right, as the case may be, it's a bit difficult for them already to raise this child by themselves single-handedly, right? That's why it was a bit of a thing back in the day for them to, and it still happens in Nigeria till tomorrow. It's till today, right? It's where they have the Igbo people send off.
But do you think it's cool though? Do you think
an apprenticeship type program where they raise kids and teach them, a bit?
But do you think it's a good thing?
Yeah, I think it has worked so far, right? In
but
certain
that's
areas,
houseboy and house
yeah,
girl.
in certain areas, yeah, it has worked, especially when they don't abuse these kids. So in a situation, so this is what it is, right? For families who send off their kids, you need to keep an eye on your child and find out how they're faring in these families, with these families, right? You just don't send off your kids and just expect
but they're
everything
poor, so they don't, they're poor people.
Yeah, but you can make one phone call just to find out from your child, how are you doing, what's going on, how's life going. Those conversations need to be had, because it's not just sending off your kid, right? You've brought this child into the world. It's your responsibility to actually take care of them, right?
Yeah.
So I've had situations where, I've had friends, from maybe secondary school who were not staying with their parents, right? They were living with some uncle or some auntie at the time, and they turned out just fine. Do you get what I mean? And this is not because they were poor or anything. It's just that situations, kind of arise as well.
But do you think that do you think they would have had a better upbringing living with their parents rather than being with a different family? What do you think they'll learn differently? Because it's being disciplined. Discipline, when it comes to disciplining, it means where you have to scold your child and point out where they're doing wrong.
Okay, so it's a tricky one, because in these situations, right?
Because it's my child. Lip sealed though.
I will okay, so I'm speaking for myself. I will scold my child the same way I will scold a friend's child, right? If you're my friend, you would expect that I will see your child doing the wrong thing and look out for you. Yeah, I wouldn't just turn a blind eye and just like that doesn't bother me. Yes, I will put my feet on the ground and say, okay, this is wrong. I need to sort this, right? This needs to stop. This is not good, right? Yeah. And I expect my friend or whoever, to do the same. But that's from my perspective. And I don't think it's in this part of the world right now, right, where people mind their business and you're not really expecting anybody to scold your child or do anything too crazy, right? That's what kind of gives room for the disrespect. Oh, sorry, that's all good. Right? Yeah, I'm all good. So that kind of gives room for the disrespect to come in, where you have family members in an African home. Just the look your mom will give to you, you already know that you shouldn't be in this.
Like, they don't even need to.
They don't need to open their mouth.
My mom, her eyes, like literally, she could communicate with me.
She could tell you to get me a glass of water and pass me
and
the
she
remote
wouldn't even
without opening. She could just do this, and like, okay, get me that, or go get this, or.
And that's to that level. Do you know? That's the way I would love to train my child. I would want to speak. I want to communicate to them. Do you know what it means? The level of communication you can have with your child, to the point you don't even need to speak, but they totally understand what you're saying. I feel like that's impeccable, and I feel disciplining your child to, especially.
But what measures would you advise, though? Because it's one thing for you to say you want to discipline your child. How do you want to go about it?
And when you also don't want to make sure that you're not crossing the line and it becomes child abuse, because a lot of people, it's a very thin line.
It's a very thin line
between the child.
Exactly, between child abuse and actually trying to discipline them. It's a very tiny. So some people take it as, she's just a parent. She's just looking out for her daughter or a son or, whatever the child is. Yeah. But It's like you said, it's a very...
that's so funny.
Whatever the child is.
No, it's the way you said it could be taking care of their son or their daughter. So
but whatever the child is.
An amphibian?
Because the child could be anything. It could be them, it could be we, it could be us,
a puppy.
It could be anything, right?
Anybody.
I'm not even trying to disrespect anybody right now. I'm just literally saying, like, it's how you handle the situation. What measures are you going to put in place? For me, I have told myself, I keep saying this, I will do the talking.
Yeah.
My mom was a very
Talker.
big talker.
Do you know, it's so bad that my mom, she was such a talker that my mum would talk your ears out to the point that
and you start to feel bad, and then you start.
Do we share the same mum though?
We probably do.
Do we?
Because my mum will do the same thing, and then she'll talk to you so bad, you piss your pants. You literally just
or you
be in
cry.
your feelings. Yeah, you be in
Really?
your feelings. You just cry and just be like,
my
oh
mom
my goodness.
would talk to, if it got so bad that I'd rather be spanked
than
to
spoken
listen
to.
to
Yeah.
talk, because she would talk into your soul.
Because she knows.
You would have the shivers.
She knows. She already knows. She's been there. She's had these experiences.
Been there, done that.
So there's not. How many lies can you really tell? How many jokes can you really tell to her that she hasn't experienced, or So
and she's
she
lived
likes
life,
to,
so
and she puts herself in these situations.
Mothers have lived life.
Yeah, she puts herself in this situation. My dad was kind of a tough nut to crack.
And laid back.
Yeah, pretty laid back, pretty quiet as well. Never really did too much, He just he was a really, really, really calm guy. Never really did too much. But my mom was hands on with everything.
Yeah.
She was always talking, and there was some times where you just be like, oh God, you're gonna get a salmon tonight. So
Really?
And then I had a curfew as well. So these are things measures you need to put in place. You need to put a curfew in place. You need to make sure your child listens to you.
What time was your curfew?
My curfew was for 7 o'clock. Yeah.
Really?
As a teenager, my curfew was 7 o'clock.
And when did your curfew end?
My curfew ended when I went to uni, I think. But while I was under her roof, it was 7 till whenever. Even when I got to uni, right? There was still points where it had to be 7, and 7 was 7. You dare not come back to my mom's house at past 7. You get this. You get.
I had. Let me tell you a little bit.
Oh my goodness!
But I had a curfew.
Okay.
And it was so bad that I'd have a curfew, and my mum would want to make sure that she has the numbers of every single person that I was going to visit or go, be it school, be it parties, be it friends, be it whoever had any sort of interaction or relationship with me.
Yeah.
She had to have their contact details. And on top of that, she would call.
We share the same mum.
We do. We share the same mum.
Yeah, I think we share the same mum.
So I feel she would call to make sure that you've gotten to where you said you were going, and what time you're leaving. You've got to give. It was like, I don't know. It felt like another school altogether.
Yeah, but that's why you have the discipline you have. That's what.
And I think
that's what life is.
Yeah,
that's what. Yeah, because. If you don't, that's what you feed off. It's what you learn from a really young age that you can live off, right? And if you don't do that, then you kind of struggle with how you want to raise your own kids.
I would like to say that my mum was a very strict disciplinarian.
Yeah.
And she would make sure that she was ready. My mum was someone who said she was ready to go all out to make sure that her children were never going to be a disgrace. And she really put her word to it. She really, really did.
Yeah, my mum was very.
She made sure.
She was very hands-on with everything, to be honest. But she was just too hands-on.
But do you think? My question now is, what do you consider abuse in your child life? Because I know that there's a thin line between like child abuse and so forth. What do you think is extreme? So, would you spank your child?
I will spank my child.
Would you use a whip?
It depends on the gravity of what they've done.
Oh, but you would use a whip.
I would get a belt. Yeah.
At what age?
It depends. When they're grown though, like that's when there's this age where you get to the teenage age when they start to think that
they get naughty and they think that
not even naughty, when they just start to think that they can stand up to, because I was there at some point in my life as well where I started to talk to my dad. I was just like, you know what, but I got to a point in my life, to be honest, I wasn't a bad kid, right? I never got into too much trouble.
We're gonna ask them.
There were moments where I could count how many times I got into serious trouble. I never brought no trouble. I had no trouble there. Literally, all my days were pretty easy. I was, the only thing that was a bit of a worry was, I would always go and play football with the mates, and I'd come back maybe just a little bit past my curfew, and it's just like, where have you gone, blah blah blah, and then it's just fire and brainstorm, right? But aside that, I never really brought any trouble. So for my kid, and like you said, for the question you asked me, right? There are just times in your life where you want to test how grown you are. There's a point where you start to say certain things, and then when you don't get beat up, you're just like, oh, okay. Actually,
that one
went through. Yeah, that one went through. Okay, I was just like, all those ones where you just say something and just leave me alone, and you're just like, and they just leave you. They just laugh.
I don't
it's
really
not like
think
they
I
don't.
had that.
Yeah, there were times like that, but in my mind, I just knew that.
I think the only time that I was able to like voice my concerns and show my level of independence and my opinions in a very strong manner was when I got to
uni.
No, like I think it was maybe mid uni towards when I left, and like when I was about maybe 25, 26, just about that age. That's when I thought, like, yes, okay, I can test.
Yeah, you can test the waters.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, it was pretty easy, when growing up, it was pretty easy to work with my family because I wasn't too much trouble. Even though on days where I handled myself with a lot of respect, and I still do, to be honest. I try to, It's not very easy, but you need to just, because I'm an only boy, so it's a tough ask.
Tell us about it.
Yeah, I'm an only boy and the last child. So it's like,
God, that is a very annoying, dodgy combination.
Yeah, so you can imagine, I got the good side of the stick. I was raised right, I was pampered as well alongside, and it was really good. It was all around just amazing, to be honest. At least I know I had a good time.
When it comes to like being disciplined, and if I had to spank my child, I think I would. But I probably wouldn't go to the extreme of using something.
Yeah.
I would probably just sort of like maybe use, what would I say? Maybe I'll just give them a tap on the wrist, or
that's too bougie.
No, but that when it gets to a certain, I think it all depends on the age as well.
Okay.
When it gets to a certain age, I think it's about time that you just start having very serious conversations with your child, because you don't want them to go astray. So, because I feel like, what difference does it make, even if I used a whip or I used,
it depends on the, like I said, it depends on the gravity of what.
Yeah, but that's my point. Like, depending on the gravity, it doesn't change what they're going to learn. So, even if I use the whip, I don't think that they would understand the message that I'm trying to pass across. So I might as well like talk some sense into them, make it unbearable, because I know that when my mum was speaking to me, it was dreadful. It was damn unbearable. But at the end of the day, she drilled her message into us. And look at me today. But yeah.
Look at me today, though. It was like.
Excuse me, please.
Okay.
I don't
have your
know.
moment. Yeah. Okay. That's all.
Let me have my moment, please. Don't bring yourself. Don't bring yourself into it.
Okay.
On that note, guys, we would like to use this opportunity to sign out, but at the same time, please put your comments in and let us know what you think is the line when it comes to what you think is the last straw when it comes to disciplining your child. Yeah. Do you think that smacking your child is abusive, or do you think there's an other way to discipline your child? Let us know in the comment section. Thank you very much. I sign out.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
That was a good one. Thank you, guys. Bye now.